Today we're going to review the different symbols found in the Scarlet Abyss. There are some smaller symbols within the story, but these are the main ones that you need to be aware of and be able to discuss. So let's begin with the bleeding tree. The bleeding tree is found at the beginning of the text and at the end where the Scarlet Abyss was found in the tree. The tree is given its name because it produces a sap that runs down the side of the tree, which resembled blood and bleeding. So when you consider the bleeding tree, you're going to immediately think of blood in the color red, which can both symbolize love and death. In the story, Doodle is definitely loved by all of his family members, but his brother pushes him to be different than what he was, which leads to his death at the end. So more so than love, the bleeding tree symbolizes death. The bleeding tree is in the front yard of the family's home and is where the Scarlet Abyss was found before it fell to its death, symbolizing the death of Doodle and the blood that was found on him when he died. The grindstone. A grindstone is a sharpening tool for knives, axes, any type of tool that you can use. In the story, the grindstone lies where the bleeding tree once stood, and the narrator is looking at the grindstone when he begins to remember Doodle. The grindstone represents the passing of time and how sharp the memories of Doodle are to the narrator, and how the narrator's actions influenced or sharpened the events that led to Doodle's death. Additionally, you could connect the grindstone to the narrator and how the grindstone symbolizes the narrator's actions toward Doodle. The narrator tried to sharpen Doodle, or rather make him better, by pushing him to learn to walk, run, swim, and etc. We have the coffin or the casket in the barn loft. In the story, the narrator takes Doodle to the barn, and in the loft there's a casket or a coffin that was made for Doodle before they realized that Doodle would survive infancy. The narrator forces Doodle to touch the coffin before he will help him from the loft as a cruel joke and punishment for all the time the narrator takes taking Doodle to different places. The casket and coffin symbolizes Doodle's disability and how it inhibits him to be able to play or act normally as the other children do. The action of his brother making Doodle touch the coffin is also a symbol for the cruelty his brother acts on due to his pride. He wants Doodle to be normal so he doesn't have to take Doodle places, play differently, or be seen with a brother who has a disability. The casket coffin symbolizes the death of a normal childhood for both the brother and Doodle, and the unfortunate circumstances that Doodle was born into due to his disability. The coffin is also foreshadowing to the end of the story and Doodle's death. We have the blighted summer. Blighted means suffering from conditions that destroy or prevent growth. The blighted summer, the summer before Doodle passes away, is blighted and symbolizes the fact that Doodle can no longer push beyond his physical limitations. Although the narrator tries to teach Doodle to run and swim, Doodle's physical limitations prevent him from doing all of those things as well as his brother, and he suffers from trying to push himself beyond his capabilities. In the story, it even talks about how he was very ill after that summer. So the blighted summer symbolizes the Doodle's suffering and how it will only get worse, and that the family is going to experience suffering from Doodle's death. The storm. The storm, both the hurricane that occurred that summer, the blighted summer, and the storm that occurs before Doodle dies, symbolizes the fear that Doodle experiences when he is trying to run home, and the struggles Doodle faces as he can never play or act as his brother, and the dangerous events that take place that leads to Doodle's death. When you think of a storm, you think of an ominous feeling, something bad is about to happen. So the storm symbolizes danger, fear, death, and struggle before Doodle's death, and that something bad will happen. And then we have the Scarlet Abyss. The Scarlet Abyss symbolizes Doodle and his death. The bird is exotic and different, like Doodle, and when he falls to his death and is broken, it symbolizes Doodle's death and how he has always been considered different due to his disability. Use this review to help you with the work that you completed on this worksheet, and use this review to help you as you prepare to write your essay about symbolism.